Hello and welcome to Sacred Akashic Healing Arts Channel. My name's Corinne, I'm one of your hosts, and today we're joined by our other co host and founder of Sacred Akashic Healing Arts, Valentina Mathias. Hello,
Mhm.
Valentina.
Hi, so good to be back. Been doing a lot of traveling, now living in Tasmania at the bottom of Australia, and very happy to join you again.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's great
Welcome,
to be.
everyone.
Yeah, great to be filming again. And we've got so Valentina is like I said, you are the founder of Sacred Akashic Healing Arts, and part of your lineage, there's obviously more to your soul's lineage, but part of it is you are a royal Akashic guardian. So today we're going to be having a Akashic conversation about what's become known as the Lionsgate portal, and we're actually filming in the window of when it's said that the Lionsgate portal actually starts to open up on the 28th of July. And
Yeah.
we're going to be really diving into what is the Lionsgate portal from an Akashic perspective, how why is it so significant for us individually, collectively, and how can we really align with these energies to help ourselves expand and awaken
Yes.
more? And also, we're going to be touching on some of the different ancient civilizations as well, and how they interacted with this alignment. So, I'm going to just start by just saying what Lionsgate is from our modern understanding. So, from our modern understanding, the Lionsgate portal is an energetic window, a portal of transformation that opens up on the 28th of July to the 12th of August, with the AA being the said to be the peak of this actual portal. And it's a alignment of Sirius rising, pre-dawn, being able to be seen in the sky before sunrise, after it's been hidden for 70 days, as the ancients would say, in the underworld, and it starts to rise up.
Yeah.
And also, sorry.
Yeah, the Egyptians, yes. Yeah, the Egyptian mythology is very strong on that, but Corinne and I have got some other wonderful, interesting ideas for you too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's the rising of Sirius, and it's the and from a it's also about the sun moving into the constellation of Leo, and from a tropical astrological standpoint. And it's said to mark, well, the Sirius rising is said to mark the galactic new year, and numerologically it's the passing through of the infinity gateway, the 8-8. So that's the modern understanding of Lionsgate portal. But we wanted to look to start with from a bit of a different perspective, because, you know,
Mm.
as I just mentioned there, this is about the part of the alignment is the sun coming into the constellation of Leo. However, due to the precession of the equinoxes, we actually know that the sun doesn't move into Leo until the 10th, 11th of August, which is almost at the end of that portal. It's obviously not there at the peak. It's actually in Cancer if you looked up at the true sky. And this is not to take away from the power of the 8-8 and the Lionsgate, because there's obviously so much power with everyone coming together on that day. But we just wondered what it really means for our understanding of Lionsgate, because it's kind of out of alignment with what's in the cosmic sky. And as I was reflecting on this, and I was thinking about, over the last 2,000 years or so, as the precession of the equinoxes has unfolded and the degrees in the sky have changed, and it's no longer in this window. It's like I say, it's the 10th, the 11th. It seems really symbolic of, we like to fix things. The ancients, obviously, they didn't fix things. They looked at the sky. They weren't looking or at least with Sirius, they weren't looking at a certain date. They were looking at a cycle of when it rose. And it just seems really symbolic of us being stuck in these loops. And I just wondered, from an Akashic perspective, do we need to be looking up to realign with what's actually happening in the sky?
Yeah, I suspect we do. Uh, and in Saha, we are attuned quite strongly to two ancient civilizations that still exist. One is the Hopi and one is the Dogon, both of who know a lot about Sirius, and are very well aware of the galactic birthing through that particular portal through line through the Orion's belt. Uh, so there's that as well, and they don't follow it yearly. Their cycles are like, well, for the Dogon, they're like 60-year cycles, and it's more about the main Sirius star and then another smaller, whiter dwarf star around it. And for the Hopi, they follow other star beings more so. So it's like you were saying, Corinne, it's like this big, for a start, they follow the bigger cycles that are not particularly focused on this one star rising at this one time. And we were discussing before the call and looking at the different times that Sirius rises around the planet. And apart from the true sky versus the uh,
Tropical.
tropical sky, yes, just I should think holiday in my brain
Yeah,
versus the holiday sky.
yeah.
The tropical astrology. Apart from that, there's also the fact that Sirius is rising, coming up into the horizon for people at different times. So I really loved the way you described that. I'll let you talk about that
Yeah.
idea.
When I was
Yeah.
when I was reflecting on it and thinking about the fact that when I was looking at, yeah, when Sirius rises, so for me in Scotland it rises in, oh, I can't remember if it's late September now, I've forgotten actually, but for you, Valentina, in Tasmania, it's like January, and I was seeing how it's obviously at depending where you are on the planet, what latitude you're at, it's at different times, and I was seeing like, as we start to grow up galactically and wake up more, it's really about moving back into the natural rhythms and what's actually happening in the sky rather than fixing something.
Mm.
And I was
Yeah.
almost seeing, would we move to more of like a wave where, you very
I
much,
love
like,
that.
like they did in the ancients, they would be in their communities,
Yeah.
in their tribes, in their locations, and they'd be saying, what's happening in my location right now? When is Sirius rising in my location? So I almost see that we would, in my location in Scotland, we'd be celebrating it, doing our rituals, our ceremony when it's here, and then Valentina, and we'd be creating like a wave throughout the globe.
Yeah, which is the whole gridding of the globe as well. We
Yeah.
different healers connect up the crystalline grids, the dragon grids, the water grids, the earth grids, and imagine, you know, just like people do really advanced Stargate stuff, but imagine just like really having that focus on everyone waving that energy to the next point that they're feeling and, well, not feeling, that they're seeing Sirius, which is the brightest star in the sky when it rises. You can't miss it.
Yeah.
Rising. So yeah, I loved that concept when you brought it up. I was
And
immediately like, yes.
yes, and obviously these
Yeah.
like I say, I'm not taking away from the Lionsgate, and we'll see what the Akash says, but
Yeah,
it's all,
true.
because
Because it's
obviously,
important to people. Yeah.
yeah, and obviously having a date where globally we can all come together as well is obviously powerful. So I was almost seeing this wave where it would like wave through depending on your location, and then maybe globally there's like a boom, like a blast where everyone also comes together.
Boom shakalaka.
Exactly right. Because the other part of the Lionsgate as well as Sirius, that that's depending on where you are. There's
Yeah.
part of the modern part of the Lionsgate also is around the sun. At some point, the sun moving into to Regulus, going past Regulus, which is the brightest star in the Leo constellation, and it's the heart of the lion, and that actually doesn't happen until the 23rd of August. So that's actually outside of the window of what the alignment that we talk about in the modern Lionsgate right now. Yeah, so I'm just, yeah, really curious to see, we're in the Akash, to see what the Akash actually have
Yeah,
to say about that.
all of that. Yeah. Well, let's ask masters, teachers, and loved ones, and my lineage in the Akash, the Royal Akashic lineage, and any of Corinne's guides in particular. Can we ask for Akashic? They're saying Akashic evidence. We need to go to Akashic evidence, which is actually never a term that we've heard before in the Akash.
Oh,
Akashic evidence.
love this.
Thank you so much. So, why are you, they're saying because there is in fact evidence on in the earth all around the planet of the marking of the rising of Sirius, even if some of the communities teachings that we like to tune into in Saha are not specifically putting out there that they're marking the rise of Sirius. They're saying they are, and it is very connected to seasons and crops, like what the Egyptians would know that then the Nile would flood, and there would be prosperity and growth of all their systems of growing things. And the Akasha is saying, yes, it's very much a star that is based on being Earth being uh, anchored to the seasonal rhythm of life, of uh, when things grow. So it comes up at the correct time. So if it's coming up in Australia in January slash February, that's the middle of summer, basically. So it's coming up to show specific seasons and crops and how people then move across the country in their different areas where they are. And it's been so funny in Saha, a lot of us have been moving leading up to what's, the Lion's Gate, even though it's not about Sirius here in Australia at the moment, particularly. But yeah, but they're saying, but what's the evidence? Can we go back to the evidence, Akash, please? They're saying there is evidence all around the earth of crop rotation, uh, celebrations when Sirius is coming up, appearing on the horizon, and the whole time in the different parts of the earth that it's from the perspective of Earth going across and down. I'm saying thank you so much. So, are you telling us that it would be great to not only look at the sky, but also find your sacred sites in your area, just as we often guide you to find your elders in your area, as in your sacred trees and your sacred waterfalls and uh, those kind of areas. Try and find sites that are connected to Sirius in some way. I'm saying thank you. How much? I just need to have a drink.
Yeah.
How will we know where these sites are? They said in the area where Sirius is rising, you would be looking at Sirius and asking it to give you that information. Just do a frequency transfer, which is a type of technique. Connect your heart chakra to the heart chakra of Sirius back and forth. And um, for people that aren't in Saha doing that regularly, which, by the way, Corinne, I've decided to run regular groups doing exactly that because it's basically the miracle maker.
Yeah.
Um, regular get-togethers for our community. But if you're watching this video and you have your own process of connecting with stars, and you can see how my voice is clearing up even talking about it, you can ask Sirius to direct you to where there is evidence of Syrian celebration of this particular season of this star. Mm. Does that make sense, Corinne?
Yeah, so
It's
I
a
feel like,
little bit nebulous, but we
yeah,
are in the
yeah.
Akash.
Yeah, and we'll link a video about the frequency transfer at the end because that came through in our
Yeah, cool.
what's trending in the Akash as well. But yeah,
Yeah,
from what you're saying is they're saying yes, we should be aligning in our regions with when we actually see
yes,
Sirius rise, and at that point, that's how the ancients would do it. They would celebrate it at that point because it's a mark
yeah,
wherever we are for abundance, fertility. It's that window of, because I mean I was looking at the ancient Egyptians, and like you said there, when they saw Sirius rise, then they would describe it as it's come out of the underworld and divine cosmic order has returned, what they call the principle of Mahat, harmony, justice. And it was a signal of, like you say, the Nile flooding and then being able to, have prosperity and be able to grow. And so it was like
yeah,
a celestial clock, but not as in a tick, tick, tick time, or as in a divine order was so they would celebrate. So I feel like you're saying that yes, regionally it would be good for us to move back into those natural cycles and look at the actual sky rather than a fixed date. And again, we'll go into Lionsgate in the modern era because I'm not saying we should.
yeah,
It's obviously great that everyone's coming together on a certain day, but I feel like they're saying yes, that's what we would have done in the ancient times, and
yeah.
that's
And to anchor it in again, yeah, by
yeah,
trying to find a spot where it's been anchored in before,
yes,
and anchor it in again, bring
yeah,
it through into the earth. And the Akash is saying you will find evidence. There will be like evidence of some sort of ceremony having been done there before. So which is always fun to try and find.
yeah. I love that. Love that. So
Yeah.
so it's kind of a, look now wherever you are in your latitude and see when is Sirius actually rising where you are.
Yeah, there's lots of apps that help you with that kind of thing, or just Google it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Okay, and okay,
So
so
that part's really cool, and it just it's a really easy reset for Earth back to an organic template, and just less. We will look at the current Lionsgate and the value of that on the fixed 8/8, and great stuff has come through on the 8/8 in Sahar, and for me, before I was running Sahar, a lot of my updated Akashic teachings came through during the lockdown in Lionsgate
yeah,
because everything was still for a while. So as the Earth's compass reset at that time. Uh, but yeah, they're saying that's just to really let go of that, trying to grab onto things like it's done like this, it has to be that. This is it. This is the thing we all have to do. It's like just they're saying loosen up, find evidence of how it used to be done, and understand that it's all moving parts of a huge cosmic system, but it's just this microcosm of it here on Earth. And of course, it's going to be different parts we play at different times around the world, and time is all speeding up and becoming everything all at once, more and more at the moment. I'm sure you've noticed, Corinne. I'm sure everyone's noticed.
completely.
But anyway, I digress a little bit, but it's just they wanted people to loosen up when it comes to, figuring out how we reset sacred cosmic order on Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I love that. So another part of the modern Lionsgate then is also about the sun passing Regulus, which is the brightest star in the Leo constellation. And that is happening outside of the window. But I don't know, I haven't dug that deep into what the ancients, whether the ancients celebrated that or, so I don't know if there's
Well,
any
that's
evidence
us,
on that. Yeah.
masters, teachers, and loved ones. Is there any evidence, information, or advice about Regulus and the sun coming into Regulus? Very connected to the pyramids. They're showing huge pyramids and very it's a time when those of us, I don't say me in particular, but those of us on Earth, the people on Earth who have very strong sun lineage energy, um, really connect. I follow sun lineage. I have friends who are sun lineage, but my lineage is a bit different. So just wanted to clarify that. So so good. Sun lineage people are amazing. They're so wise and expansive. It's a time for them, basically. It's a time for them to have their ceremony where they come into ceremony with each other. And the Akasha is showing me a pyramid in the sky, in there among those regular stars. And when the sun comes in, that calls that pyramid to light up and calls the pyramid, sorry, the lineage of the sun people to gather there and discuss things because they're all around the earth in different, DNA lineages, different communities. And wow, it's very cool. It's very, very cool. It's just like this suspended meeting up in the sky. Reminds me a bit of when I was a child and I used to go into the library in the sky at night time. It's just that same like suspension where it's just happening out there. The Akash, by the way, is no longer out there. It's one of my jobs this lifetime. If you've watched our YouTube much, has been to uh, bring her back, bring Earth's wisdom back into her center, into her core. Anyway, but this is like that, like it used to be, like out there where you go up into this suspended state if you're of the lineage of the sun. And I'm wondering if the elemental fire galactic people go there too. They said they most certainly can. But there's specific people who are lineage of the sun people on the earth, and that is their gathering. And it's so great for them to get to be around each other because they tend to have very big, expansive energy that not everyone understands on earth. So they don't have to minimize themselves. I mean, they're up there anyway, so there's that. But also they're around other people that are shining like the sun as well. It's
Yeah.
pretty cool. That must be bringing up questions for you, Corinne.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's beautiful, and I love that. Well, one thing, how do people know if they're part of the Sun lineage? Obviously, some people will know, they'll remember, but some
Yeah.
people might not have awoken to being part of a Sun lineage.
Masters, teachers, and loved ones, how would people know if they're the sun lineage? They're natural teachers, natural leaders. Their energies tends to be too big. They're told or they get the feeling, the unspoken message to pull it back.
Yeah,
And of course, you can um, ask the sun directly in your dream time if you are from the lineage of the sun
yeah,
and see what information comes through. You can have an Akashic session
yeah,
or some other session. Of course, I think the Akash is the most amazing, as Corinne calls it, the gold standard in
absolutely.
the way we do things in Saha.
Yeah,
But, I really honor and respect that other people have other amazing ways of connecting. You might be in touch with, some of the Indigenous tribal groups of the planet and be able to ask some of their elders which lineage you're from. And if you happen to be from still in your ancient lineage line, you'll know. Like my Mexican healer friend, Nestor, he knows he's from the lineage of the sun because he was born into it and taught all the amazing teachings as he grew up. He always knew exactly what lineage he was in
yeah,
because where he was in Mexico and Oaxaca, he knew his family knew. So he knew there's that too. Not everyone's disconnected like you and I are, Corinne, but we
yeah,
found it finding our way back
yeah,
to,
yeah,
well,
that's very true.
yeah,
Yeah.
to our different roots. I mean, I'm lucky that in my Irish family, we still have tales of our ancestors healing. So I always knew I was from a family of female healers. So
Yeah.
um, there's that, but there's always so much more when we're disconnected from um, country. In my case, although I love being in Australia very much, yeah, it can take a while to figure it out.
Right.
Yeah,
I was just thinking as well for because obviously, for those that are maybe not part of a sun lineage, but still, I'm thinking that it's still a beautiful thing if they want to celebrate the sun lineages when that happens as well, because obviously we're all connected to the sun whether we're in a lineage or not.
yeah, in the kind of way of this is when this is happening. How wonderful is it?
Yeah.
But without uh, the Akash is just reminding us how much, even as we're all upgrading to our frequencies, as our human selves, we do tend to still try and grab onto things. So they said, as long as you're not trying to grab onto the process and interpret it, but just really honor
Yeah,
for
exactly.
those
More is
lineage of the sun
honoring.
people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pardon me.
Yeah.
Uh, but it's, yeah, they said it's really important everyone loosens up, loosen up.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
So from a, I love that, and I like the link to Egypt as well, because I was a
yeah,
lot of some of my questions was leading me to the Sphinx as well, and
yeah.
the fact
And
that
you're really been connecting with Egypt lately
yeah,
too.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. So in terms of just thinking about what we just discussed there, so we're kind of saying like, okay, what modern day Lionsgate, and obviously the ancients didn't celebrate as Lionsgate is a concept, is a modern
yeah,
concept.
yeah,
It's not an ancient concept, and obviously it's
yeah,
it's bringing
yeah,
nothing wrong with bringing things. I think it's worth saying because I was thinking about this as well. For me, it is about going back to the natural cycles, but also honoring that we're also in new energy as well. And there might be new things that we merge, there might be things
yeah,
we create new as
yeah,
well. So,
yeah,
there's nothing wrong with the merging of, the Lionsgate. Like I say, there's everyone feels. I think a lot of people that tune into Lionsgate feel a lot of love for this time and feel the energies, but like we are just saying, when we're looking at it from this perspective, Leo being here and it's not actually there. I mean, actually, it moves in just at the very end on the 10th or the 11th. But so,
yeah,
shortly, it's not going to be there at all in the
yeah,
window.
yeah,
Is the fact that we're fixated on that, or we've been fixated on that, is that part of keeping us stuck consciously
yeah,
in a loop?
yeah, yeah. Oh, yes, there's a few things in there that I'd like to address for people and then ask the Akash about the loop.
Yeah.
For a start, when Corinne's talking about how Leo's not there, if it confuses you at all, like, what do you mean it's not there? It's like if you were to look at the sun every morning, like I do, anyway, you would realize that it's like it's rising here and it goes across. This is in Australia, it goes across the horizon to the left. And then once it hits solstice in our winter, so we've just had that in December, in our June.
Yeah.
And then it starts go like, from our perspective on Earth, then it starts flowing back. So the same thing is happening with the stars as there's a procession of equinoxes changing things like, and the Earth's moving. Like our perspective here is changing. So how we read it and what dates they're in the different ones is changing, and we're missing a whole constellation. The 13th one, can't remember how to pronounce it, the dragon serpent. Yeah.
Theacus.
Yeah, that one. So it's that's the concept when Corinne's talking about it's actually moving out of there now and we're looking at it. It's as if, I've gone down to the beach to look at the sunrise, 3 months later, and I'm like, it's not there. What's it doing over there? It's just it's a constant state of movement that you have to understand. that uh, that this just comes back to the whole, you just got to let go. Just let go, the Akasha is saying. Let
Right.
go of trying to control it. So there's that. The Lion's Gate is, the whole portal, like it relates to a couple of things. One is that the Orion's belt there is like a traveling portal where you can go through to different dimensions. And it's also where originally through there and through Sirius, where originally all the galactic uh, lineages came through. So that's why it has this very strong energy of being, a portal energy. And there are actually galactic wars that are fought around that portal because it's like a control point that people want. So people, beings. So it's part of the reason of its great importance and its modern name that's more like the Lionsgate portal. So masters, teachers, and loved ones, going back to Corinne's specific question about if, the true sky that we're looking at is not fixed and we're moving our perspective with it all. By trying to keep it fixed, does that mean we're stuck in some sort of loop of a lack of graduation in our consciousness or some sort of trauma loop? I'll just wait for the answer of what guide wants to come through. Yeah, it's just like it keeps the veil over our eyes.
Yeah.
So it's, certain amount of information, some of it's great and good, but at some stage, you have to wake up and become a lot more flexible with it to be able to progress. Um, but there's a certain amount of safety in keeping everything just the same way every year. But there's just like this beautiful sense of love coming through from the Akash and explaining that it's just all been part of the process. So not to worry about it too much, that's been part of the journey of descending, as the Egyptians would say, into the underworld.
Yeah.
And now the cosmic order is being seen and reset.
Right.
Um, and it was always going to be around this time space reality. It's happening a lot more quickly, into the new Earth timeline than anticipated because so many people are able to raise their frequency and help others raise their frequency and working with really simple things like the sun and the Syrian star and the new pink sun energy too, which is really important. Assyrian energy that's come through and infused, kind of almost swapped out with our sun so that we can start to be protected on the new Earth timeline. Um, so yeah, it does hold you at a lower knowledge frequency, really, rather than a trauma loop.
Yeah.
Um, And Cash just keeps saying it's really so simple to get out of those things, but it's not going to happen until people are ready to bring through, following the wave of Sirius all around the world.
Right.
Simple things like that. And there would be so many more too, but we're just looking at this. Yeah.
Right, yeah, but with it coming up and just like you say, it's not bad that we've been doing that. It's part of
Yeah.
our awakening as well, and part of and I think
Yeah.
there's a really so just moving away from the light. Okay, the alignment's not there, which is being focused on, which is this fix. Like you say, it's that control, that fix. I think that even though I don't know this much about it, but my brief understanding of the calendar that was brought in with these fixed zodiac was about control. You know, it was to bring in
Okay.
control.
Yeah.
But I don't know that much
Yeah.
about it. But so obviously moving into the organic and what's actually happening and moving with the
Mm.
cycles is what's going to expand,
Yeah.
bring us back into the organic coding. But maybe we can just talk about the fact that one thing about the modern state Lionsgate is it brings
Mm.
everyone together globally on a Pacific date. So we've got the numerology coming here of the 8-8. But again, we were kind of talking about this as well. Like, we've got a set date, but does that, we know
Yeah.
that numbers
Let's ask
numbers
about
are
that.
powerful, but
So, uh, we've have a set date of the peak of the Lionsgate being the 8/8, and that today, when we're filming on the 28th of July, is the opening of the Lionsgate portal. There's just like so much energy vibrating, and I'm seeing the Sphinx. We mentioned this before too, the Sphinx as
yeah, yeah,
a lion, not a cat
yeah.
or whatever it is, not a human,
No, they've got a
as a
human
lion,
head on it now. That was one of my
human head.
that was one of my
Yeah.
questions. Like, to clarify that it used to be a lion's head.
Yeah, yeah, they're showing that, and just so much energy. It's amazing, just vibrating from the Sphinx out. And uh, there's also uh, horse energy coming through, galloping through the sky,
Hmm.
through Orion's belt. So I'm saying, so you're coming through now to the horses, and they're they're pulling up. They're like, why wouldn't we be? Okay, okay, just checking. And they're like, they have riders on them too, like amazing galactic, like knights, we would call them. But these amazing riders on the horses coming through Orion. Yes, Orion's warriors. Thank you. Uh, we're here. You called us. Can't, what, are you saying that we don't come at this time? No, no, do, please do come. It's almost like they get, not these particular beings, but different beings get down to earth and they're like, what now? What are they doing now? What are those humans doing now? So, yes, please keep celebrating and coming at this time. And so, and the Cash and the Lion Sphinx is welcoming them, and they go all around the earth at this time, and they say, "We love it. It's a huge celebration." Huge celebration. It's kind of like what you were saying before, Corinne. I can't remember if it was while we were recording or before, but it's got its own energy, even though Sirius is not rising in the sky everywhere at
Right.
this time. The modern Lionsgate portal energy has its own energy that's amazing, and that's really been confirmed by the Akash and these horses and these galactic knights, Orion's army, you know, flying practically, galloping through in, and very much saying, yes, it's got fantastic golden lion codes, heart codes, and we, we're not attached to whether or not it's the true sky in Leo. We just know that it's a really, this is when Earth stops and celebrates. Yeah.
Right,
And
exactly.
we
So it's
come in. Yeah.
right. So it's like we were saying, like, Lionsgate feels amazing, right? But it's bringing the alignment in of what it is, what's being created is this celebration and this call to our
Yeah.
galactic brothers and sisters to come in and
Yeah.
ambassadors. And so it's almost like, yeah, this is something I guess we've created modernly as a new celebration. Uh,
Yeah. And the Akash is saying, and it's valid. You talk a lot,
yeah,
both of us, about other ancient cultures. They're saying your modern culture is valid too.
exactly,
Your
exactly.
modern mixed melting pot culture of everyone who's trying to help. I'm
Yeah,
saying, yeah,
yeah,
or the spiritual community that are trying to get there and get it, and
right.
have these wonderful events. They're saying that's a really valid culture as well. So, um,
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Know that.
And
Yeah.
there's so much power as well, right? In, like say, globally, like we think globally is all coming together. It allows us to all come together, focus on a certain date, focus our love energy, our intention as a unified
Yeah.
field, no matter
Yeah.
what culture we're in, no matter what race, no matter what sex. It's just like this unified field where we come together during the Lionsgate. I think it's just a line
Yes.
what it is and what it is not
Yeah.
really, which I think
Yeah.
progression maybe and the expansion.
Yeah. So what, oh wow. The coding while you just were talking, it's like everything behind me is just going
Yeah.
hyper colored. Um, and what is the celebration about? What are the gifts? What are the light codes that come through? Different every year. This year it's about removing the dualities
Mm,
and
yes.
uh, coming more into unity consciousness, co-creation, unity consciousness, realizing that everyone on the planet is playing out, uh, you know, one side of the duality in one way or another.
Yeah.
So it just brings more what we would call brotherhood and sisterhood in of unity consciousness, of realizing that even if we're looking, observing something and thinking, oh, that's pretty off, which we have been lately, Corinne,
I know.
certain spiritual
Yeah.
person,
Yeah.
uh, entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Um, so realizing that it's, that that's what they came in to play out,
Right.
so that we could all have this big, ascension into unity consciousness, because we need things thrown up in big ways, as they're released, so that we can all come into understanding that we're part of a whole, um, and it's and laugh about it more, I guess, which is pretty hard because some things in the world are pretty tough and awful,
Yeah.
or things that happen to you or your friends can be really unfair and dangerous. And uh, yeah, they're saying, yes, true. So what this energy brings in is a big pulse through through this portal at the moment, to really give a big pulse to the release of the duality, so that you know people can be uh, not have to experience that deep, deep traumatic experiences. And I'm saying, how does this work with those of us that have been clearing all the trauma out of the Akashic records, so that we can ascend into a cleaner kind of consciousness? Uh, the Akashic is saying, just keep going. Everyone's playing their part.
Yeah.
Just keep going. And this is a big boost for releasing duality coming through in this particular one, and bring so that we can come into more unity consciousness. And I'm saying thank you. That's magnificent and wonderful. And these um, galactic horses and their riders are like, this is our chance to come through with a massive boost,
Yeah.
um, for humanity. Saying thank you. It's so, so wonderful. Uh, and they're saying we like playing. One of the things we like about humans is you're so open to assistance and to experimentation, and try this.
Yeah.
So they love it. They said, you're so volatile in a good way. Like, you just keep going and keep trying the next equation. And we love that you're so open to us being able to come in and give this huge boost at Lionsgate and assist. And the Akasha is saying, yes, really celebrate Lionsgate this year. It's a big celebration. Often it's been about bringing through high level information for me anyway.
Yeah.
And this year it's really and we had this big channel through from the Three Eye Atlas when we were talking to the Akora beings, the creation galactic beings from our lineages on Earth. So I can't even remember what that was about now because
It was just that
I'm
they
just so
brought
out
in,
there.
yeah, they brought in Lionsgate quite early on in the year. So we were like,
Yeah,
what's
as
going
being
on?
important. Oh,
Right,
so now it's coming up. So now we're going to see.
right.
Now we've discovered why it's important. Yeah,
Right, and
yeah.
just a week or so ago, I did like a 9 day oracle card, Akashic oracle card reading in Saha with the sacred
So
animals,
good.
and within 7 days, the lion came out 3 times, and when it first came out, I was like, this is about Lionsgate, and I could feel the energy already with us. I was like, it's going to be super super powerful this year, accelerated. And it actually
Yeah.
brought in the message of the feminine and the masculine unity as well. So I love that you
Mm.
just brought, because that message came through
The
in,
duality. Yeah.
yeah, about
The
really,
unity
yeah,
consciousness. Yeah.
absolutely coming back into the whole. And I love that they're bringing through a celebration because it feels so celebratory, the energy. And so what,
Yeah.
right? It feels like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And I know other people that I'm speaking to have really been connecting into this feminine masculine unity, feeling of something really coming into alignment
Mm.
inside as well. So I love this. I love it. We've
And
created
holding the template for it for us. That's
that.
becoming in. Like even if you're not with your twin flame partner, you can hold the template, the correct template for that within yourself, and um, that assists, that template to exist, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Uh,
it's
yeah, it's
go on. Yeah.
beautiful. And I love the concepts that have come through about like the modern teachings, or I can't remember how it was said then, what we were
Oh
creating
yeah,
was,
that
because
yeah,
one thing I always feel like about going back to the natural rhythms and the organic and looking to our ancestors, before the distortion, I think is obviously amazing, bringing back that wisdom. But I've really felt strongly that we're not creating exactly the same as we've had before. We're creating something new and even more amazing because we're taking all that ancient wisdom with the cycle,
yeah,
but we're adding all the stuff we've learned and expanded through the fall, which is a totally
yeah,
unique experience, which creates new wisdom in itself. So it is about
yeah,
merging and melding
yeah,
in alignment with the organic. So I really love that. Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Your words are very wise. Energetically, there was a big flash above me as you were talking. So
Thank you. Thank you.
thank you, Corinne, for being you.
And the other thing I was going to say then, so um, amazing with the beans coming through. What a beautiful to know that and to feel that. And how is there any advice on how we can best align with these energies of celebration to really help us expand, remember more of who we are? I know obviously a lot of groups will be doing meditations on the AA. Is there anything that they want to bring through that would be a beautiful way to co-create with them?
Masters, teachers, and loved ones. What is a beautiful message for anyone out there, and also for our Saha community,
Mhm.
for whatever I end up running. So for people out there, masters, teachers, and loved ones, to celebrate Lionsgate and the boost of energy for unity consciousness. Uh, really beautiful. They're saying just tune into the weavers, the spiders. Um, so nice. Not what we expected at all. But
And I love that because I think I'd said to you recently, Valentina, the spider had showed up a few times actually in my bathroom.
yeah,
And it came through one of
yeah,
the light body activations that you did for me as well.
yeah. Yeah, they're saying tune into the architects of the universe, the weavers. Uh, because they're weaving, this incredible heart energy coming through as I'm bringing through this message for anyone out there on Lionsgate. If you're not called to join something that someone's running or that we're running in Saha, or they're saying really tune into the spiders. They're the weavers of the universe, and just ask for the, you know, galactic weavers to bring unity consciousness or accept unity consciousness into your life and into the earth. And the Akashas, the other parts of the Akasha chiming in and saying, yes, it's that simple. Like a lot of the resetting of really good cosmic order is very, very simple. We don't need to, or you don't need to latch on, and you don't need to have anything overly complicated, but you can as well. Right?
Yeah.
If you want, if you're called to join a ceremony. So
Yeah.
that's kind of beautiful. That's really lovely. Just acknowledging the webs and the spiders
Yeah.
around you in on the 8th of the 8th and on this like period. It's all celebratory from now right through to I think about the 7th, is it? Or the 10th
Well,
of July,
the 10th,
12th of August.
before
Yeah.
Christmas, yeah.
Um, and what about for the Saha community in particular? Oh, there's going to be they're going to talk to me about that in another private session with myself because they're showing my Akashic totems and a lot of keys unlocking different doorways, spiritual doorways for people. I'm saying thank you. That would be amazing. So I'll look at that another time and we can do a little post about it in case people want to join. But
Yeah.
yeah,
And you can actually join Saha for 30 days free membership as well. So just
yeah.
there'll be a link in
Just
the
putting that out
description.
there, so that would take you right through. Well, there's full moon tomorrow night,
Exactly.
and then
Yeah.
there's Lionsgate, and then there'll be new moon. So it might take you right into new moon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would, because that'd be like 28 days
Yeah.
roughly later.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be cool. But
Yeah.
it's worth the membership anyway, the incredible high level of healing.
Yeah.
So
And I love that. I love the simplicity. And like you say, it can be complicated if you want. You can do what you want, but it's simply
yeah,
aligning your heart and your intention. And that's all is needed to anchor it in and
yeah,
bring in that energy.
yeah,
That's beautiful.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it is beautiful. Spiders, the weavers of the universe. They're so sacred.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's really nice to get to say that about the spiders and bringing the, because
yeah,
historically
and
honored.
the yeah, and when the Akash channels things through, it's correct. It's for a reason. It's not like, oh, that's sweet.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
it's actually very powerful. Might seem quite simple, but
Yeah.
and you want to hear as humans that it's all about some big sun thing. Uh, But they're saying if you tune into the spiders in this period, that's what will bring in the energy for you. So, and it's fun to tune into the sun as well, of course, and
Oh,
to meditate with Sirius. Even if Sirius isn't in your area, you can still connect your heart energy out to Sirius and ask Sirius to connect into your heart energy too.
right.
So,
Just like you
yeah,
said, Valentina, which we were talking about before we came on, and I'm going to link this transmission, but we did a transmission about the ancient earth lineages, and in that, you brought through that, originally we all came through Orion's belt and through Sirius, which you did talk about. So,
uh,
yeah, we're all connected to
yeah,
Sirius.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
a really powerful consciousness for us, and also the fact that
yeah,
you also brought through the with the December solstice, that, and I'll link a video about that as well, with this sun upgrade with the Sirius
yeah.
consciousness. So Sirius is
Yeah,
very, very amplified, And I feel like
Mm.
that's a real alignment with us returning back to our organic codes and organic nature.
Yeah.
This is back to the
Yeah.
beginning of coming into this earth. So it feels very aligned with
Yeah.
that energy.
Yeah. And yes, I love all of that. It's good wrapping up or
Yeah.
explaining of things for people. Personally, I'm feeling this incredible healing around the Akash saying, like, don't discount your modern tribe. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I just feel so good about that. I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
uh, because I'm so connected to Sirius and know, of course, a lot of my past lives uh, and really am so in awe of the Dogon energy and traditions and Hopi and have been connecting particularly with the Hopi elders on the in the Akash energy for like a long, long time. And it's so nice to be like, yeah, but it's okay to hybrid that up into what we're doing now. Like, oh, wow. So I don't know what it is about those words, but it's providing a massive
Yeah.
healing for me.
Oh,
So,
good, good. I love
what's been
that.
the biggest
Yeah. No,
healing
that,
tip or
well,
information for you? Yeah.
I think for me it is that letting go of control and but also,
Yeah.
like I say, it's not it's just bringing I think sometimes we're afraid as a race to let go of something because we think it means it's been bad or we've done something wrong. Whereas actually, the
Yeah.
truth is so much more beautiful, right? The truth
Yes.
doesn't dishonor that. It actually
Yeah.
it actually expands it into a new realm of energy.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so yeah. So I think that's I like that we talked about. But I also love the confirmation as well. But exactly, we're creating new traditions, and we're not gonna be going back to being exactly the same as we were in ancient times because why would we do that? We're always changing, growing, evolving, and expanding. It's going to be something even
Yeah.
more magnificent.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, totally.
yeah.
Honoring, but also the next stage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that was a
Mhm.
beautiful transmission. Thank
Mhm.
you, Valentina. Thank
Yes, you're very welcome. The energy is really beautiful.
you.
So, masters, teachers, and loved ones, is there anything else you want to bring through? Mm. Yeah, they're saying there are so much wisdom imparted even by looking at artwork and statues and all sorts of things
Mm,
that in I'm just particularly talking about the Dogon and the Hopi, and not to just to receive that, not to like this thing of like not grabbing on, just to just view
yeah.
and receive what's being imparted, um, and there might be something coming through for you about Egypt because that's more of your
Yeah.
particular interest at the moment.
Yeah.
Just tune in and see, Corinne. I'm really seeing the Nile.
Yeah. I mean, the night, yeah. Yeah, I'm feeling a lot coming about Egypt, really. I feel like there's going to be a lot of remembrance activating, the organic, because I really can't dive in too much to the information that's out there because it's very hard to know what's distorted and what isn't. So I really feel like, yeah, there's going to be a lot awakening inside of me over the next few months to do with
Yeah,
ancient Egypt and
yeah.
my connections there.
So cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
This is good.
yeah,
All the expansions and all the rememberings. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay, so we're ready to close the Akash now. So we'll log off
yeah,
and Corinne and I will keep chatting. Thank you for
yeah,
joining us
yeah.
today. We
Thanks
love
for
you.
joining us.
Nice to see
Yeah.
you again. It's been a little while.
See you on the next one.